Hello! I have officially moved in to the new basement of a family friend's over in Edinburgh for university, and naturally I couldn't bring all like 100 books on my physical TBR, so I figured I'd go through the ones that I ended up bringing with me by genre. I've already started a couple of them, but we can just jump on over into it maybe, if that's fun. Right, so if I start with literary fiction, so I brought Tomorrow, just in case I need to sob. I have this again, which I feel like is in every one of my videos and I never read it, but you know, I had to bring it with me so in case I actually decide to read it. Book 5 of the Henry VIII's Wives, like little historical fiction. It's purple. We have Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid, A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. I've actually started this one. It's In Case of Emergency, which I always thought was romance, and now that I've started it and I'm a solid 120 pages in, yeah, it feels more like a contemporary fiction because it's more about her trying to find who should be her next of kin on her she's reaching out to her old friends and stuff like that. I thought it was going to be a romance, but it's not. I have Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I'm excited to read about an octopus solving crimes, because of course I am. Actually, as I'm going through these, I'm going to put them in colour order, because obviously I'm going to put them in colour order on my new shelf. I don't want to say in this at all, so if I go through romances next, I brought both of my Jane Fallon books, which is Just Got Real and Worst Idea Ever, because I figured I don't have loads of romances at the moment. There's not loads that are kind of on my radar, just because all my kind of favourite romance authors have already released their books for this year and I've already read them, so that's kind of fun. But I figured it'd be good to have sort of some nice romances for if I'm in the mood for a romance, and I figured her books are very pretty. I brought The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, which would be my first Christina Lauren book, because I love Ali Hazelwood's books and they're kind of sciencey, and this one's sciencey, so I figured might go down well with me. Yeah. Just yesterday actually I got The Ex Hex by Erin Sterling. I was looking for this in the works for ever, for so long, but they as soon as I went looking for it, they'd switched over to their Christmas books for some reason, despite it still being autumn. And I just figured I wanted a nice witchy romance for autumn season next month. The last romance I brought is Riley Thorne and the Corpse in the Closet, which is the second book in the Riley Thorne series. She's kind of a psychic. She's kind of solving crimes with her hot mafia boyfriend or whatever. Private investigator boyfriend. Sorry. I have 5 fantasy books. I've got the next 3 books in the Throne of Glass series, because I've read the Assassin's Blade now. So I've obviously got Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight and Heir of Fire in their pretty covers. I've got The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Posen. I read The Dead Romantics and I DNF'd it because I found it so dull and I just didn't get it, but everyone seems to absolutely adore that book and I don't understand, so I figured I'd give her another go, and if I like this book I'm going to reread The Dead Romantics. Obviously I DNF'd it, so maybe the ending kind of made it for people, I'm not sure, but I think this is also a really good one for autumn season. And the last fantasy book I have is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. A lot of these books are because of autumn. I've kind of brought all my autumny haunting books, so I have a lot of thrillers and horrors. But yeah, so this is just about sort of the dead wife, the dead ex-wife haunting the house of the new one. So I figured it would be good to sort of have all the haunty books this time. I have a couple dystopians. I have Dry, The First to Die at the End, and This Delicious Death. This Delicious Death could probably be into the thriller section as well, but it's got a few extra elements in there, so I figured it would work out as a dystopian. It doesn't really matter, does it? Let's be honest, but here we are. Okay, literally all the books remaining are either cozy crime, thrillers, or horrors. So I start with all my cozy crime books. One of these I'm not entirely sure if it would count as a cozy crime, but which is Murder in the Family, just because it's probably more of a thriller, but it's all told in like newspaper clippings and things like that, so I feel like it can't, like, how is that thrilling? But it might be, so it could be a thriller, but it's in that realm of the books. I bought Dial for Aunties by Jessie Sutanto. I just found this in Waterstones and it sounded really funny and cute, and it's just, you know, it's a blind date and then her date like low-key dies and her aunties help her sort herself out on that one. I've got Death Comes to Marlowe, which is the second book in the Marlowe Murder Club series by Robert Thorogood. I have another Robert Thorogood book, which is Murder in the Caribbean, which is the last book of the like Death in Paradise books. And I have Brouhaha by Ardal O'Hanlon, which is one of the detectives in the Death in Paradise series. So we've got all the Death in Paradise books that I could ever possibly need or are related to that, and I think that's pretty fair enough. Yeah. Last two piles. So No Exit by Taylor Adams. I actually meant to get The Last Word by Taylor Adams because that's the one that everyone's been obsessing over, but I picked the wrong one. But this one still sounds really good, so I'm not like too worried about it. It's one of the ones where it's printed by Amazon, so it's really heavy and I don't know how I feel about that, but it's fine. I got Secluded Cabin, Sleep 6, which I think is just like Cabin in the Woods kind of vibe. Also, this book may look like it's so short, but the pages are like Bible thin. Because there's over like 350 pages, and it's this like these have the same amount of pages. I don't know, but they do somehow. I got The Hiking Trip by Jenny Blackhurst, and I just figured this would be a nice one for sort of, once again, kind of like the Cabin in the Woods, but you know, hiking in the woods. A nice wee sort of thriller for autumn season. I brought It's Behind You by Catherine Foxfield because I figured if I wanted like a YA thriller, this would be that. And also she's written like, I think 4 books and they're all so pretty, so I really want to get into hers. I've actually started this book before and I only got about 30 pages in. I didn't really give it a chance and I just wasn't in the mood for it, so I figured if I became in the mood for it, then this one would be good to try. I have Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, which will be my 4th Riley Sager book, and it's just haunted house vibes, so I feel good for the season. Have Stephen King's Billy Summers, which is more a crime novel apparently, but I really wanted to read another Stephen King book, and I read Misery, and that was okay. I think I rated it like 3.5 stars, but I wanted to try another one of his books because obviously I just should. I Know Who You Are by Alice Feeney. I don't know what this is about, but it's by Alice Feeney, so I feel like I'm gonna love it because I'm obsessed with her book. She's now become like an auto-buy author for me. I also started this book. I'm kind of reading 2 books at once for some reason because I wasn't really in a thriller mood, so I'd started this when I was, and then I kind of became out of a thriller mood because it's really long, and it's You Were Gone by Tim Weaver, so I'm kind of reading this on and off with In Case of Emergency. So the last few books I have are all thriller horror books, maybe like slasher books. There's Someone Inside Your House. It's more like a kind of like Scream the film, kind of like a funky wee little slasher. I've got Ragdoll, which is about 6 victims being stitched up into one body, which is kind of body horror. And I think I'm probably going to hate it, but I really want to read it. I Don't Fear the Reaper, which is a Friday the 13th kind of story set, and I really want to read it on the weekend of Friday the 13th in October. Another Final Girls kind of thing, I've got The Final Girls Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Finally, I have Bunny, which is a nice wee cult horror kind of book. So, those are all the books that I decided to bring with me or have bought in the past few days. Another book I just sort of randomly have is Wrong Place, Wrong Time, which I've read. It was just, I just have it kind of left over. It was in my bag. It's just here now. It just is going to live in Edinburgh until I go home. So that's that. And now I'm going to rainbow them up on my cute little shelf. Sorry if it sounds like I have a cold. I think I'm allergic to the cat. But he's so cute. He's so cute. If I'm allergic to the cat, it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's okay. So it's so fine. I've just finished making my shelves look really pretty. Ta-da! There's also more pink books right inside just because they don't all fit, but it's so pretty. They're so sweet. Around here a lot. Reading nook. It's so cute. Oh, I'm so sweet.